Back. Everybody's listening to the 11th episode of the Doom Ninja podcast.
Boom. 1-1. 1-1.
It's a long time coming. So I guess we will get started. We encourage you to participate, leave comments in the Facebook Live if you're listening to us live. We'll try to pay attention and make sure you get the love you deserve for being part of our show.
Yeah, I got the right one open this time. For whatever reason, when you share something, it has its own comment string. Totally missed that last time in the main one. So
Good times.
yeah.
So, I guess we'll get started with some recording.
All right.
So, Ryan, did you know that we are an international podcast?
That's what we do. We expand.
We are in 23 countries around the world, including the U.S., 22 other countries, if you will.
Good,
So,
good number. You know, 2's my favorite number.
2 is your favorite number?
2 2s? Twice as good.
So if we exclude, we can say we're in 22 non-domestic countries.
Well, also, you know what? I was number 4 when I played baseball when I was little. 2-2. Illuminati. It's a conspiracy.
So we want to give a little love to the people who are listening. So we have Brunswick, Australia, Nashville, Tennessee, Ashburn, Virginia, Mountain View, California. I hope I'm saying this right. Grange, UK. So that would be in our top 6. We have 2 non-U.S. cities as they're giving us the love. So definitely want to appreciate all those people listening around the world.
It was good. I feel like when Goku starts taking all the energy from the world. That's what I feel like right now.
So our podcast is just doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
and we're going to go Super Saiyan very soon. Yeah.
But that's after someone dies.
3 or 4 more countries, we're going Super Saiyan.
Okay, we can do that. You know, the local newspaper predicted your international success.
I thought it was funny that he's like, seeks to expand internationally when I have one game for $1 that sold like 10 copies. But who knew? He's a psychic.
The guy was a visionary. He
was.
believed in us before we believed in us.
Yeah.
So, we have a couple games we're going to talk about. I just completely... But I know.
Like, I know one of you said was Crown Takers, right? That's
Yes.
one you wanted to talk about. And then Duelyst.
Duelyst.
Since you started playing it, I decided to pick it up, and I've probably put 12 hours into it in the last
I've
like
put
3
a lot
days.
into it. And then we've got some updates on our personal endeavors, so we'll get started with the show.
Big news.
Do you want to end the recording there?
Yeah, we'll snip it. Snip it good. File. Export.
So again, thanks everyone for listening. You get to see the magic of the show. We'll call this opening monologue. Oop, that's not what I wanted. So people haven't watched before, we record everything in segments. That way it's a little easier to cut together. If there's mistakes, we don't have to redo a whole podcast. If we're trying to do it in one take, we can just redo a segment. And also, if some segments don't make it because of time, we can always save it for a later episode, unless it's a time-sensitive thing. So,
Yep. We definitely want to keep them going every week. And we have vacations and things planned. Like last week I was on vacation, but we still got an episode.
nobody knew.
Yeah. Well, a couple people knew.
And then there'll still be an episode the week before Christmas. I won't be here,
Yeah.
but we'll still release an episode.
I might just put a webcam on and just talk to it, unrelated to a podcast at all.
So,
Be like,
me and Shelby, my wife, almost got on Tuesday night to do a special husband-wife video and talk about Rift. It's a game it's an MMO she likes to play.
Mm.
So, all right, so let's save this, and then we will talk. Let's start with Duelyst. That's when we get a lot of. That was a really loud clap.
That's fine. That's why we put a gap after it, so I can trim that off.
Yeah. So, Ryan, there's a game I told you about a little while ago that I've actually really enjoyed playing, and you've picked it up now.
Yep.
It is called Duelyst.
The price is right on that one. That's why.
Yeah, it's the greatest price of all time. Free. So this game's actually available on multiple platforms.
Yeah, I think it's PS4, Xbox One, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS.
So in basically every current gaming OS. I mean, PS3 and Xbox 360. They're sure they're gaming platforms, but they're kind of the at this point previous gen. So
yeah. And it's not on mobile, which I can see it being on mobile, but
it would be.
I don't
I don't know. Some of the movements would be tedious. So this game plays. I think it appeals to two types of fans, amongst others: Magic the Gathering fans and Hearthstone fans. It has a lot of elements. It's got a really cool art style too. If you're watching the stream or watching the video on YouTube, they have some anime art and then pixel art mixed together. So there'll be times where some of the cards and some of the storytelling uses really awesome drawing, and then when you play the game, it's pixels.
The people that are listening are not going to be able to see this, but you got like a little corner of the screen there, I think.
What?
It just showed like a tiny corner of it. Anyway, yeah, I think the art... Originally, when I started the game, the art is in like a lower res mode. I guess because they think it's resource intensive. Maybe it is. Who knows? But we got pretty good computers. I got a good computer in my living room, and I noticed that all of like the anime style art is supposed to be high detail. It was like blurry. I'm like, well, that's kind of crappy. Like all the high def stuff is kind of has like a little bit of a blur.
It's
to it.
weird. I
was
didn't
playing
see
on
that part. I didn't notice.
50-inch TV, so maybe that's why you didn't notice. But I went into like the HD UI mode or whatever the hell they called it, and cleaned everything up. But that made like a weird contrast between the anime stuff and the pixel art stuff. It made the pixel art stuff like seem worse, even though it's good. But I was playing on a big screen. That was kind of strange. It kind of took some getting used to.
See, that's sort of because like I'm looking at we took the actual gameplay video from their Steam page. Right, that's what's playing right now, and the pixel art here looks better than what I see. Now I play on a 40-inch 4K, so the anime looks crystal clear, but the pixel stuff does look a little rough. So I wonder if that's where it is. But it's a strategy game. So take Hearthstone or Magic and add a chessboard to it instead of just playing in front of each other.
Well, it's like tactics games.
So yeah,
you ever
it's
playing tactics games like Shining Force or
Final Fantasy Tactics. That's still to this day one of my favorite games.
Yeah, it's the same idea. So now you can use the placement of your characters to have strategy as well, like block things off or.
So basically how the game starts is you get these spirit orbs which unlock cards, and these cards you use throughout the game. It's similar to Hearthstone. You start with 2 or 3 crystals, depending on if you go first or second, and every round you get an additional crystal.
The crystals are your mana.
And
That's
cards,
fantastic.
yes, cards have costs from 0 up to, I think, 9's the limit.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 orbs on the board that are in the same spot every map. There's no real different maps. The backgrounds, I think, may be different, but the layout of the map is the same.
And it's a 9x5 grid.
9x5 grid. And there's 3 orbs that if you, either you or one of the minion you've cast touch, you get a bonus crystal for that turn.
Yeah.
So there's, and it helps in the beginning accelerate the game a little bit. It's also the way they do the game balance. The first player can't get a crystal. The second player can. So it stops maybe any unfair advantages. It's a way of balancing turns, which I thought was kind of neat. And you build a deck from whatever cards you've come across.
The game feels a lot like a miniature tabletop game too. I felt like comparing to like Warhammer or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Things are physically there. It makes it a lot different seeing like a representation of what you put down as opposed to like something like Hearthstone where it's a picture in a frame, and even the gold ones are like a very slight. It's static, but there's like a little bit of an animation. This felt a lot more alive because everything has its own character. It's not a card. Once you play it, it's now, the guy with the big flaming sword, and he's like breathing while he's waiting.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And positioning matters a lot.
So much.
Like it's like in Hearthstone or even Magic, you just have cards in front of you. Where those cards are technically really doesn't matter.
Usually it doesn't. I mean, Hearthstone a little more than Magic.
Yeah, sometimes
Magic
things
doesn't matter
line
at
up,
all.
but this game positioning is, I'd say, half of the
Massive.
game is
Yes.
where things are cast, where things are positioned, where you move things, because there's things that have ranges. So things that usually can do one square around, or you have ranged things which can do pretty much anywhere around the board.
And where your things are dictate where you can put other things. It like expands your vision essentially. So
Yeah, because you can only place things within one square of you or a enemy or a minion you control. So that matters too. There is different factions, and those factions kind of dictate playstyle. Would you agree?
Oh, for sure.
It kind of reminds me of colors and Magic, as far as each faction has kind of like Magic has colors that kind of typically recommend certain or represent certain strategies.
And the same with Hearthstone, like the different heroes.
Yeah, true. Like the different heroes, different strategy. So we'll go back and forth on these. First one, Lionar. That's one of the starter ones you get.
Yeah, it's the basic one that's easy enough for beginners to pick up.
If they have a keyword called Zeal, which is kind of neat. So if a minion is near your general, they get a +2 to attack.
It's within one square, that 1 square radius.
Everything's kind of very heroic. It's a lion, so it's proud lion, white armor, gold, and
yeah, it looks very Alliance.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Very Alliance.
And the main guy that you start with, all the like the commanders or lieutenants or whatever they call them, have a hero power, like in Hearthstone. But a little different than Hearthstone, it has a different type of cooldown. It's not like a 1-turn cooldown all the time. It starts at 2 turns, and I think at a certain point it goes to 1 turn. But there's a cooldown. It's really strange the way that they do the cooldown. But this guy's cooldown ability is +2 attack to a minion permanently. So when you're comparing hero powers in this game to hero powers in Hearthstone, it makes sense that there is that cooldown, because they're really powerful.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that every one of them that I'm seeing is really
The Lionar gives what, +1/+1? Well,
+2 attack.
+2 attack. Now, there's also, similar to Hearthstone, there's multiple generals per faction. Currently, there's 2 per faction. If you're watching on the live stream right now, this is the anime representation of the Lionar general on the screen.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're still seeing just a little corner, because that's what I'm seeing.
Really? That's so weird, because
like shrink the screen.
Oh, see, I didn't realize what was happening, and
if you see this guy's shoulder pad, you can definitely tell that.
I didn't realize what you were talking about until now, and I'm like, I can see the screen, and yeah.
So we'll have to go into the YouTube video on this one, and like re-put the video capture in there, and then re-put the overlay on top of that. Band-Aid fix.
Yeah. So it should now look right. If you look on.
Judge that. That looks good. I see the hairy Lionar man.
Yay. Alright. See, this is why we do things live. You get to watch the fun things happen. So that's one faction. What's the next faction?
Moving on, we have Songhai. And from what I get from these guys, the main keyword for them is backstab. The general has a keyword or his hero power can shift a minion a little farther. So you have like you said, a normal radius where you can move with your minions, and this gives them an additional 2 movement, because positioning is important for backstab. Whenever you're behind a character, because each character has a direction that they're facing, and it is relevant. If it's behind a character and attacks, it gets a bonus of damage equal to the backstab number. So like the little guys you get have
1 to like
1.
4, yeah.
And then the other enemy cannot counterattack. Something we didn't bring up previously is whenever you attack something, generally there's a counterattack that happens at the same time, so they both deal damage to each other.
No matter who's attacking or defending.
Correct, and even if it dies before it attacks back, it still happens. So if you deal 2 damage to something with 2 health, it will still hit you back. Which, something else to note, all of the generals, or commanders, whatever we want to call them, have 2 attack and 25 health.
Yep, and there's ability to modify them.
Yeah, and everybody has some sort of ability to modify them, and you can attack with your general as well as your minions.
Yep. Songhai is all about positioning for the backstabs. They also have a very Asian theme.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of those, like even the guy who's on the screen now is the general for Songhai. He, in the female alternative one, they're both kind of very same with that theme.
That guy looks pretty cool.
It is.
Swords.
This is probably, if I had to say, my 3rd favorite faction. Lionar would be 2nd, and we'll get to my 1st.
My 1st we haven't talked about yet either. Let's see. How would I put him? I think I only really have like a top 2 right now. Because I've only played, a couple days. So, what is the next one?
So next one is the Vitruvian. They're all about spawning these dervishes, little whirlwind elemental guys.
I like these guys. This is number 2 for me.
I'm a pretty decent fan. Like, the general art looks weird, but so a lot of their things is about making. Oh, I just passed them. A lot of the general art is about making dervishes and then boosting them. And so dervishes are these little 1/1 guys.
2/2s.
Well, I guess it depends on how you summon them.
All the dervishes I've seen are 2/2. The dust dervishes and the one that you summon from your hero power they're all 2/2s.
Okay. I can't remember now.
Which is awesome. There's another one that summons 1/1s. So I can see how it could get confusing.
Gotcha. So, and that's their main strategy, is to get as many dervishes out as possible, and then boost the hell out of them.
And it's interesting the way it puts out the dervishes, because it has these. You have your hero power, which puts them out, and then it has obelisks, which are minions that cannot move, and they just spawn these dervishes. They have no attack.
There's 0/6s.
Yep.
And every turn will spawn 1
with rush, which is like haste, and then they die at the end of turn. But there are ways to strategize.
There's shenanigans to boost
keep them
those,
alive and make them just completely.
and that kind of comes into the other thing, the support powers. There's minions, and then there's spells, and these spells can either destroy things, or they support other minion, or give minion some of these abilities.
There's also artifacts, which we didn't bring up, which is like a weapon that's on your character. Each time your general takes damage, it removes 1 durability, so it can be destroyed in a single turn if enough things attack you. And it usually gives you some sort of benefit, like extra attack, or maybe you spawn extra minions when you attack things. It's really cool modifiers on the artifacts.
And they last 3 hits.
All the ones I've seen, are just 3 hits.
So you can wear more. You can wear the same artifact up to 3 times, even. However, 1 hit counts towards the 3 hits for all 3. So you kind of have to be careful if you stack. The guy on the screen now is the Vitruvian general. He's kind of crazy looking. But again, it's kind of the art style that every faction has its kind of own thing. I would say these are probably my second favorite.
Yeah, mine as well. They're a lot of fun. And that you get to use a lot of the positioning things. If people ignore the obelisks, they're both getting in the way, and they're continuously putting threats out. So it's a lot of shenanigan stuff.
It's quasi-Zergish. Like, the whole object's to spawn a bunch of dervishes, boost them, and then just overrun your guy with a bunch of disposable minion.
And I watched a professional Magic and Hearthstone player, Brian Kibler. We were talking about this earlier, that he does play Duelyst. And I watched one of his streams recently where he was playing the Vitruvian with the dervishes, and there was some nutso shenanigans. He had a spell that summons an extra dervish at every obelisk.
Yes.
So if you had like 3 or 4 of them out, and they already spawned at the beginning of the turn, that's 16 damage. At least, assuming they're not buffing.
Yeah.
I mean, your general starts at 25. That's pretty much game.
Yeah. And they have the wind dervishes, or they have the dervish spawns that give +1 to all dervishes. So that's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So what's next?
Next is my favorite, the Abyssium. This one has like a crazy lady. She summons imps.
She's purple.
Yeah, she summons like imps and minions. A lot of little 1/1 things. Her hero power is to summon...
The Wrathlings, that's what they're called.
Wrathlings. And she summons 2 of them somewhere near her randomly. But that's pretty cool because it's 2 bodies. And her deal is... Well, the mechanic that I like the most from it is the Death Watch mechanic. When things die, other things get stronger.
Yeah, that's anywhere on the board.
It's anything that dies,
opponent's minion or your minion, if they die, things get better.
Yeah, and she has tons of cards that put out a lot of minions. She's got one that like 3 mana to put out 3 imps, and then her hero power puts out 2 imps. So if you crash 5 imps into something, and something has Death Watch, it just got +5/+5. It gets way out of control.
Quickly.
Yeah.
They also are kind of big on the void power, so they're big on positioning. They have a lot of powers that will just move you out of the way.
The first time somebody used that lasso or whatever, it
power's
does 1
annoying.
damage to a minion and then moves it anywhere on the board. Most minions can't move very far per turn, especially
2 squares.
diagonal.
2 squares unless there's shenanigans.
1 diagonal or 2 squares, either up or down.
Yep.
So somebody can essentially take your minion completely out of the game for 2 mana, because it will never get back close enough to attack. Because from what I'm seeing, most games don't even get to 9 mana.
Yeah, no.
And
5
you start
or 6.
at like 2 mana, so you get 7 turns. If they move it like turn 3, it's done. It's pretty much out of commission. Super strong. It's a really cool ability.
But it works in two ways, because there's a mechanic called provoke, that anything in an adjacent square has to attack a provoke before it can attack anything else, or even move away.
Yeah, can't even move.
I had a guy do the reverse. He used it to pull people to provokers that he had on the other. He summoned one in the corner and then was just launching people to it and just basically and effectively nullifying them from the game, like you mentioned. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
they're annoying. I'm not a fan of these guys.
Oh, I love a good scheme. So when we finally play head to head,
It's gonna be they're very necromantic looking. Everything's kind of deep purples and stuff.
Yeah, kind of gothy a little bit.
It's if they're Forsaken from WoW and the Necromunga from that Riddick movie were to make something, and it would look like this.
Would it make something?
Yes.
Yes, something like Whoopi.
I don't want to think about those, especially those examples I used. And on the screen now, you'll see the general. She's very emo, very goth.
Yeah. The other general is actually really cool too.
The one with the bigger armor.
It's like a little girl with like this huge thing floating behind her, something like that.
Yeah.
But her ability, instead of the summon 2 Wrathlings, she damages something for 1, and then if it dies, it puts a shadow creep down. That's another strategy that these people can use, the shadow creep. I totally forgot about it. Which is like a spike pit on the ground, and whenever an enemy minion or enemy is on top of it at the beginning of their turn, I feel like, they take 1 damage, and there's other things that boost the damage that Shadow Creep can deal. So you can really screw up people's positioning by putting Shadow Creep everywhere. So that's a whole other strategy. Completely other strategy from the same faction.
Yeah, because you're trying to make the
really
board deadly.
Yeah, completely different.
And there's a guy that I just got, I want to say he's, there's also rarity. So like there's things that are common creatures, uncommon, rare or epic than legendary. There's one I want to say he's a legendary, or not epic, that he gets +1/+1 for each shadow creep on the board.
It's a 4-cost rare 3/3. Because I played the Gauntlet, which we haven't talked about yet, but and I got one of those guys, and it was crazy because I played a shadow creep.
Yeah. Did you get the thing that puts 4 shadow creeps down, 2 by 2? Yeah. It's so.
But my deck sucked, and I went like 1 and 3. We're not gonna talk about that. That didn't happen.
Sure.
I got an orb from it, so whatever.
So next we have Magmar.
Not to be confused with the flaming duck from Pokemon.
Is that a thing?
It is a flaming duck from Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah. And it looks goofy.
Magmar are big insectoid things. Every time I see one, I think of the Men in Black movie. How like the thing after it came out of the Edgar suit. That's what I think of, but make it green.
Mm-hmm.
So Magmar is a very different playstyle. One, a lot of the abilities make your general tougher.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy.
So
it's scary.
Your general is the thing that does the damage. So they're all about running up and bashing you in the face instead of using minion to do the job. So
it's not uncommon to see the Magmar general come at you with 7 attack.
Or higher.
Yeah.
I got him the other day with 16, and the guy was running from me. So they have a keyword for some of their minions called grow. Simply, they get bigger every turn. Either they get bigger in power and toughness by 1, or I saw one the other day that was 2.
I saw one that was like 4
God.
in that gauntlet. It was
I've never seen that
unable
one.
to be dealt with. If you can't deal with it the first turn, because they grow at the beginning of the opponent's turn.
Yep.
So if you don't kill it the turn it comes out, you're
just hosed.
Yeah, you're on the back foot.
But everything, all of the artifacts and a lot of the support spells are all about buffing the general or healing the general because he's supposed to be the main damage.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And it's tough to play against because they get scary really fast.
Yeah, like I said, I'm scared of grow minions. I don't like them. Maybe I need to play them more to enjoy their existence. But right now,
not so much. And then, what's our last one?
The last is Vanar. That's pretty much how the commentator says everybody. So it'll be like, Magmar versus Vanar.
Yeah, it does make me laugh. Cause you know what it reminds me of, in a slightly less goofy way, is epic rap battles of history, where they're like, epic rap battles of history, but it's like, Lionar versus Magmar.
Yeah, it's serious. But Vanar is kind of like the people of the land and beasts of the land, like of snowy.
Yeah, they're
icy,
like and these are my favorite.
Definitely their theme. I haven't played enough of them yet, but I can definitely see where the appeal is. The Vanar General has a very, very strong hero power, which deals 2 damage to the enemy general and everything in its column. So there's 5 spaces per column, so you have to manipulate your things around that the entire game, basically.
Yep, it's again positioning matters.
There's a massive amount of positioning things in this. The main keyword is infiltrate that I'm seeing on the minions, which is when they're on the enemy's side of the board, which you each have your own halves, then it gets a big boost. It'll be like twice as strong when it gets to the other
depending
side of the
on
board.
what it is, and some of it is. I saw a flying infiltrator the other day, which is just flying gets to go anywhere on the board.
Anywhere.
On its turn. Its movement's not 2. It's one of the few examples.
Unlimited.
It's just like, I'm going to go anywhere, so it can immediately go to the other side of the board where it's infiltrating and wreck shop.
It's pretty crazy. I noticed the lady does like a lot with like ice walls and stuff too. Like a lot of just positional, just keeping you out of the way.
Because you can keep, it's also you can keep minions in a column if they can't move, because you can put those 3 ice blocks up.
Yeah. And what didn't make sense to me, because I played against one of these people, and they put up some ice walls that were 3/3. They had 3 attack. And the ice wall can attack you if you're close to it. Which I was standing next to it, because I'm like, it's a wall. I just don't have to fight it.
Whop.
I thought since it had 3 attack that, if you attack it, you take damage? Boo-hoo. Don't attack it. No. The wall reached out and attacked me.
It reached out and touched someone.
It did. It reached out and punctured me. Ugh, that was so annoying. Because I'm used to Magic. I've played years and years of Magic.
Walls are defenders that it can't attack, damn it.
Walls just get attacked. They don't attack. This Duelyst has some shenanigan animate wall BS.
It's only BS because you get hit you.
I know. That's one gripe that I have about this game, because I think the game is great. I really like this game. And I have like the beginner's gripe, which I would probably have with any game I got into now. Because I'm not familiar with it. Like, I'm very familiar with, I was very familiar with Magic before, like, the last few expansions, because I haven't really paid money on them. But I am pretty familiar with Hearthstone. I know just about every card in Hearthstone, so I know a lot of strategies can happen. When something happens, I'm not going to get butthurt about it, because it's like, I knew that was possible. Flame Strike, right?
Yep.
7 mana Flame Strike. But in this game, I don't even know things are possible. So somebody will cast a spell that puts, like, 4 minions on the board. I was like, great, alright, I lost, because I didn't know that was even a thing that could happen.
Well, the thing is also that if you played the challenges...
Oh yeah, I've done all the challenges. Challenges are awesome.
So there's these challenges that get you to think about card interactions, because they'll give you, like... In the beginning, it's really easy. It's like, you get these 3 cards, defeat this guy in 1 turn. And it's buff, kill.
It usually tells you, like, what mechanic you're supposed to use, also.
Yeah. So some of these challenges are meant to make you think deep. Because there's some instances where you're using, like... One of the challenges, I remember, you had to summon an ice wall in a vertical pattern just so you could summon a minion within... It extended your cast radius, if you will, to put a minion in to then buff it and have it hit the general.
Yeah.
It was this whole ordeal. So the challenges really help you get strategy. They encourage you to do them, especially in the beginning. They give you extra gold, which we haven't talked about yet.
And gold is your way that you get cards when you're not paying cash money.
Yep, so microtransactions are available. You can buy gold to buy things. Like if you played Hearthstone or Magic, you can buy packs, basically. Or you can grind out gold for cosmetics. There's some cosmetic things you can buy with gold. Some you buy with cash.
You got emotes, which I thought was kind of strange. There's
Which
a lot of
you can't chat in this game, which is probably for the better, because it keeps toxicity down.
I feel like the emotes that they give you right off the bat also aren't like very harsh. There's no really harsh way to do it.
Yeah.
It's like when I play Hunter in Hearthstone, I always hit oops, because he says, that didn't quite hit the mark when they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, nice job, asshole. But in this one, it has like a sad face, or like somebody smiling, or somebody like kind of like...
It's very anime face. Like there's the mwah, like there's a kissy face one.
And they do have a few words. They have like a good luck, have fun, GLHF, hello, well played. And I feel like in this, since you're not hearing somebody say well played, it doesn't sting.
Yeah.
Like the well played in Hearthstone.
Because there's times in Hearthstone you spam something like threaten. You're just like, I will threaten you over and over again.
A lot
and
of
be
it
like,
is because they're saying it.
yeah.
The way they say it. Gul'dan, well played. There's what a douche. Like,
I agree.
he doesn't think I played well.
So you can play. There is a practice mode where you can level up your generals, which give you free cards.
You get less experience than playing against
Real
players.
people.
Makes sense.
There is a competitive ladder, which I really like. It's very similar to Hearthstone. So you get 2 wins per rank. You don't lose any rank once you're in bronze, which is 25 to what's that, 21.
Does it go to like 30?
Well,
I thought it started like lower.
Maybe,
I felt like it started low. Maybe
I don't remember now.
Maybe just because I was equating it to Hearthstone, and I like never dropped really far beneath 20 in Hearthstone. But it's either 30 or 25 is like where you start.
And then once you hit 20, you're in silver.
Yep.
Which at the end of each season you get better loot. Silver is the first tier of additional loot. At silver, it's 3 wins to level up a rank. And you do get some bonus wins for streaks. Like I went on a 6-game streak, and I was gaining like 2 levels at a time.
Yeah, I did the same thing recently. What level are you at now?
I'm 19.
19.
So
I'm 18.
I've leveled up 1 time, and I hit silver, then leveled up again.
Yeah.
Which anyone who knows who's played League of Legends, I've just accomplished something.
Have you played since the season rolled over? Did you get any gifts from the last season?
I started I want to say it starts the first of the month. It's monthly. I think I started October 1st.
Gotcha. Because from what I've heard, because I've been looking into the game because I've been interested in it, you get these crates, which is different than a sphere. It's not going to have just cards in it. Crates can have the cosmetic stuff, the emotes, and possibly cards as well. And when you play through the beginner content, it gives you one of these crates, and then it gives you a key for the crate.
Yes.
Which, from what I've heard, you have to purchase these.
You do have to. They give you one to wet your whistle in the beginning quests.
Is there any way to get them with gold, or is it all just cash?
Not that I've seen.
See, that's messed up. Because from what I gather, your season reward is a chest. It's one of those crates. So, what good is a crate that you can't open?
Well, they have to make money.
I know, but if the game stands strong enough on its own, like Hearthstone, I purchased the first 3 adventures, cash money, and I bought packs at least 2 or 3 times. I spent a lot of money in that game. I probably spent like $150 or so. The game, being strong enough as it is, got me to pay money, more than the game's worth. So, I don't know,
maybe playing this longer, this could get the same way.
And it could be just because it's an independent game. It's a small studio that put it together. And maybe they're just trying to recoup costs earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't this game originally like a $10 game when it came out, and then they made it free to play?
I feel like literally the only reason I discovered it was the #1 thing on Steam's free to play after Dota.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And then actually our friend Bruce, he streams it. Caster Troy 85 on Twitch, I think.
85 or 82?
We'll put it in show notes.
Right. We'll have an 80 in it. We know that.
He live streams Duelyst all the time, and does a lot of commentary. And he's even told me when we were talking about building decks at the beginning, he's like, honestly, I use the same. He goes, and I quote, I use my magic brain to make decks.
Yeah, and I similarly do too. You kind of make a decent curve when you understand how long the games usually go. You don't pack it full of big stuff.
Yeah.
You don't start with a whole lot of cards to begin with. From what I've seen, it's a good idea to start throwing in all of the faction cards, pretty much, that you get, because they're going to be stronger.
Yeah, there's faction cards, and then like Hearthstone, there's neutral cards that can be played by any faction. I got lucky, and as we've mentioned in multiple podcasts, I frequent Humble Bundle. Mm. Humble Bundle had, just for using our website, here's a code for, you didn't even have to buy anything. You get 10 orbs.
I missed it, man.
So, well, here's the thing. You get 10 orbs for free, and then you got 10 orbs if you bought the Humble Bundle for that week. So I got 20 orbs for... I ended up spending $5 on that bundle because it had something else I wanted. But I got 20 orbs, and that's what I did. Something else we'll talk about later with.
Yeah. I mean, from just playing through all of the early challenge content and like the regular daily quests, because they give you daily quests in here just like Hearthstone, but they give you more daily quests, and they include a daily challenge, which is kind of interesting. I think I ended up being able to purchase or gain roughly 7 packs.
Spirit orbs.
Like.
Yep.
Yeah, for free, and I got 2 legendaries out of there, and then they gave me a legendary for.
But you get some every once in a while. You'll hit an achievement. They auto give you
Which that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
especially because I didn't expect it. Because usually I like to like check out the achievements, say, okay, here's what I need to do, let's try it out. Actually, I kind of expected there to be some achievement like after you completed all the challenges, but there wasn't, which was weird. Because I crushed them all.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts. It was actually, you know what's kind of funny? All of the challenges in Duelyst are here's your board state, win in a turn, win this turn.
Yep.
There was a old magazine called Duelyst that had stuff with card games, mainly featuring Magic.
Yeah.
That had a article that was the same thing. It gives you a board state and it says, win this turn.
With
or
this nice.
yeah. It was really cool. It was like the same idea. It kind of gave me a throwback because Duelyst hasn't been out for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it's funny that it's the same name and everything.
So there's one last mode to talk about in this game.
Yeah.
So Gauntlet. This is my by far favorite. If anyone who knows me and plays Magic, I like limited drafting is by far my favorite way to play any of these games. Because it's less about who spent $1 million on packs to get all the top tier cards. It's you get a random set of cards, you build it, you play, you move on. I love this version of the game. It's 150 gold, which is about, if you had to guess, 2 days, maybe 3 days of questing
Something like that.
to get that. So it's actually not that hard to get. And you get 30, they show you 3 cards at a time, and you pick 30 cards. And then you play against other people who've done the same thing.
Mm.
And there's a win system. So every so many wins, your prize pool gets better and better and better until you get 3 losses.
Mm.
And I really enjoy this. The drafting itself is kind of the fun part because you're agonizing over these 3 cards, which one's the best one, and you pick a faction to start with, so you don't have to randomly select a faction, and then you just draft like you would in Magic with 3 at a time, or it's similar to Hearthstone arenas.
Yeah, and I feel like you'll definitely benefit from knowing more of the game.
Yeah.
Because just taking things at face value without really knowing, and that's what I did. I got a lot of like the shadow creep stuff. And I was originally, because I took the Abyssium, because that's my favorite and it was available. But I took the alternate general, which I'd never played with. And I did not realize that the hero power is different. I didn't think about that at first, so I was taking things that were like, whenever you play a minion, buff it.
Yeah.
Or like whenever a minion dies, buff it.
So you're like Wrathling.
Yeah, and then I got a bunch of shadow creep cards because I realized my general was different like halfway through, and then it was just, it wasn't very strong.
Yeah.
And that could have been avoided if I knew a little more about it. So my first experience with the Gauntlet was not that great. I went 1 in 3.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see the appeal of it because, like you, I like Magic limited a lot. Hearthstone Arena not as much because it's insanely competitive. It's really difficult. But Magic for sure is a lot of fun with that format.
What's your highest? So I've done 4 gauntlets.
I've only played one.
I've gotten 7 wins was my highest, and I actually got 2 orbs out of it and some spirit.
That's pretty sweet.
Spirit is kind of like the dust in Hearthstone. You can actually break down cards and save up spirit to get other cards. There's another way if you want a specific card. So if you have a certain faction you just earn love with, like you like, was it Abyssian?
Yeah.
And I like the Snow People, whose name suddenly...
Snow People. Vanar.
Vanar. If you have certain cards for certain deck strategies you want, there's ways for you to get those with a little bit of sacrifice, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if there's a certain faction you just hate. Like if anyone knows me, Blue Magic, I would just get rid of every blue mana card.
And it's another thing that you eventually, if you get enough packs, you'll have overages. It's a good thing to do.
Because you can only put 3 of a certain card in a pack or in a deck.
Which is, it's strange that legendaries do not have that limit that Hearthstone has. You can put 3 legendaries in the deck, no problem. Because I played against somebody that had 2 of the exact same one. Positive of that.
See, I have one I have a black and a white version of the same legendary. If I put one in, it says it grays out the other one.
But that's 2 different versions of the card, right? You said there's a black version and a white version.
But
if you have cards that are just a regular legendary, from what I gather, because I've had it happen to me, you can put out more than one of the same one.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So I would say we both really enjoy this game. It's something we're both going to play for.
When I get home tonight, I'm going to play my dailies.
Yeah.
Which
So
looking forward to.
check out, it's Duelyst.com. That's Duelyst.com. It's on the Steam store, but it's also available on Linux, Mac, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One as well.
Yep, free to play, doesn't cost you anything. It's got pretty good community feedback. I think it's around like 80%, 80 Metacritic. It's not bad.
Yeah, generally liked game.
Yep.
Hit us up on social media, Doom Ninja Cast at Twitter, or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Doom Ninja Podcast. Let us know if you want. Give us your Steam names, and we'll happily play against you.
Yeah. And you can check out the live video streams, which we record and we play back on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is Doom Ninja Podcast. Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They kind of deals with that, so.
So yeah, definitely check it out. I think anyone who likes any kind of strategy games, competitive games, tactic games, it's a free game that will be well worth your time.
Yeah, we'll probably be talking about it in the future. If it keeps my attention the way that it is, we'll definitely have continued interest in it. We didn't even talk about the expansion which came out recently. We could talk about that in the future possibly.
Yeah, we'll do that. So check out the game. That's a whole episode in a podcast. 37 minutes. That's our longest
That was
segment.
sweet. That was a good one.
Yeah, well, we both really like this game.
Oh, yeah. So we can, for shits and giggles, do that other game, or if you don't want to, we can just do it another time, since this is enough of an episode. Once we do a studio update, we put on episode.
Well, let's do studio update intro and then see where we're at on time.
Well, actually, let's just do studio update intro, because I haven't eaten dinner. I forgot to eat today. When I get engrossed in work stuff, I like start forgetting that food is required to live and whatnot.
I don't have that problem.
So we got Duelyst, we got the opening. Let me make sure this is put it's here in place. That's a long one. I don't want to lose that. Yep. All right.
All right. So, studio update. So let me get the
Studio. Studio. Oh man, Kale and I forgot to record the damn thing that we were doing earlier. We were cracking ourselves up in the car. We were talking about how people in different countries like kind of enunciate things a little differently, and like broken English, just have a different language that they normally speak, and sometimes it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. And we started like sing talking a lot of stuff. I got stuck on like the Indians. I was doing like the Tanuk type of stuff, like do do do, kind of do like do sounds. And I had a song in my head, but it came out as Big Pimp. It wasn't the song I originally had. It was like, do, 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 and we were like both doing the other parts. He's like, do 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 do. We were cracking up, like because we had to do it super loud. Just because we had to project into like higher notes. We were going to the Taco Bell drive-thru. People were cracking up. Do. It was too funny.
the video you guys posted of looking like at the screen and looking away.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
that was the most random video.
I found these sound clips at an antique store. These discs from like Windows 98. It came out in 99. And it's just sounds. Just bunches of music genres and like drums and things within the genres. And that was on one of the discs. Those discs are actually really awesome. I found a lot of stuff that I can use in game, like right now. We actually heard a sample in there that an artist that we listened to used around the same time that it came out.
Oh, really?
Like when we heard it, we're like, that's the same thing. We put the song on, we're like, there it is. It was so crazy.
Those bastards.
By some random company called Data Becker, who I've never heard of Data Becker, and their logo is just like text. They don't even have a logo. And it was like
just stating.
10,000 sounds, and it was a freaking gold mine. It was definitely a good find. And actually, my buddy Kale is the one that's like he's using them now for his own music because he's working on some
nice
stuff for a CD. That's pretty awesome. But that's little inside information for the people who watch on YouTube that don't necessarily listen.
Yeah,
to the
we're not
podcast,
recording,
you know,
so yeah.
because we're not recording this part. It's just kind of like in between. It's a little bit of whipped topping, whipped cream.
Bonus content. All right, so we'll do studio update.
All right, go ahead and start recording.
So Ryan, what's going on in the Doombrowski studio?
Well, this last week, for those who may not have picked up on it, I was not in the state. I was out and about visiting with family and road tripping with my lady. So I didn't get to do a whole lot of work. I did work one day while I was up there and just got some sound stuff, back-end sound stuff set up for the female character, which I don't have the sounds for it yet, but I just used the male character sounds and made it so the functionality's there. So when you hit the lady, it sounds like a guy right now. Which, maybe she's kind of manly. Who knows? But it's weird because it's my voice. I don't know what that means. I think I need to do some tuck actions.
That says a lot about you, I guess.
Yeah, like, what's his name? Buffalo Bill?
Oh, God.
The motion of the pocket. Okay. So the sounds are in. I also added a couple other sounds that were kind of necessary for other transitional things that I felt like were lacking. There's a slide attack in the game, so I had to make like kind of a slide going across the bottom. I boosted the levels on a lot of the sounds. I actually did a lot of that today. And I added some kind of impact things to make the clash feel more tense. Just little things that you don't really notice kind of make the game feel more alive. So that's pretty much done. All I have to do is change out this female sound effects, which hopefully Sandra will be able to help me with tomorrow. She's going to help do some grunts. And should be good. I got some placeholder music in there as well, which anybody that's watching the live stream, I want to play Nate before I leave, because he's going to be at the convention that's coming up this weekend, and he's going to have to play it against some people. So I want him to be a little familiar with it so he can crush some people's souls.
Yes. Soul crushing.
So I got placeholder music in there right now. Kale's supposed to be helping me with the track, just because I looked through all my old stuff that I made, and I didn't really feel like making something new, and I had a piece of a track that he had before, and like it felt right. So I asked him to make something kind of similar to that, and he's been working on it. So hopefully I'll have that in the next day or two. The track that I have in the background right now is actually something that he and I collaborated on years ago. That was just like a joke type of thing. And again, I save a lot of my stuff even though I'm not using it. So it's just like a gold mine waiting to be prospected.
Well, even the segment segue music is stuff
all
you
of
just hung on to.
All of it was things that were just there. Like not even necessarily ever used anywhere. I think I used one of those in a video a long time ago, but nobody's seen it. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with reusing something. Not everything has to be new.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing to think about when creating, just in general. I find that like I always want, if I'm drawing something, I want to draw it off the top of my head. I want it to be like fresh and new. And I had that kind of way of looking at things for a long time, so I felt like I wasn't a very good artist because of it.
Yeah.
And lately I'm using a lot more stuff for reference, maybe tracing an outline even before I start with something, and then doing the details manually. There's still skill involved with that, and the finished product is what somebody sees, and it is my own, it is original in the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a little helpful hint to people who maybe feel like they're not good enough at things. Try recreating other things and just putting a twist on it after that. Because
Like
it will
make
still
it
be
yours, basically.
It still will be unique enough. I mean, if you think about everything is just an iteration of something else. Call of Duty is not the only shooter game. There were tons of shooter games before it that it's kind of taken ideas from. And you know, if you see something that's like this golden, beautiful thing, it wasn't just created out of nothing. It uses a lot of other things.
Yep.
So keep that in mind, people. A little, if I could do like the little star, the little rainbow star, the more you know.
The more you know.
So what else I've been working on? Yesterday, which I found my time frame on making new characters is about 9 hours currently. I made a new character portrait, which is a hand-painted face for the character. So the female character has like a nice detailed portrait, just like the first character does. Which, for people who don't know, the male character's name is Thad, because he's a douchebag hipster. That's a douchebag hipster name. And the lady's name is Jenny, because that seems like kind of a bitchy lady name. That's what I chose. It's fine if you know Jennies that, you know, are not bitchy, but
The one Jenny I work with is the sweetest lady I know.
Yeah, it's just really generic. It came to my head. I was just thinking like, you know, roundabout name. And it just seems like there's so many Jennies. Anyway, it doesn't have to be Jenny. If somebody feels bad enough about it, I'll change it, whatever. But to make Jenny, I searched bitchy face. And then I picked one of my favorite ones out of that, and was like, that's Jenny. So I kind of worked off of that. So Jenny's...
You have to give her the, I want to speak to your manager haircut.
Well, she has a ponytail, because the original one had a ponytail.
Oh, okay.
And it keeps the hair out of the face. It keeps it off of the shoulder line, because the way that depth works when I'm creating animations, every piece has its own depth, and I didn't want to make a hair piece separate and have a different depth. It was just to save a little bit of time.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
her ponytail was originally going behind her shoulders in the portrait, and now it's shorter than that. That's just a little, like, Band-Aid fix type of thing. But I created the portrait, and then I took the character model, and then I just shrink down the portrait, put it on top of that, and then gave it new clothes. She has a red shirt now instead of a white shirt, and her leggings are now kind of shaded and gradient, which, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done the way that I did, because it gave some problems with the knees, and her legs technically changed sizes, and I had to do a lot more tweaking within Spriter, which I use for animations, than I would have liked to. The whole idea is when I put things into Spriter is to make like a generic mold for character.
Yeah.
And then when I copy the segments over, they should be within that same scale, and there should be very little that I have to do to make them feel like they're still moving correctly. But in this one, like, hands were kind of disjointing because I did something different with the arm shading and the legs as well. The knee connected a little shorter, so I had to move every animation around. And it's because I was trying to use just like a straight swap of the art pieces, and it didn't work very well. So I'll have to figure something out with that. Hopefully the next character I make isn't too much different than this one. I mean, the animation should pretty much be done for it, so I don't have to do it again now that I have the new artwork, but a little bit of a headache. But it lets me know that, now I know that it's going to take me about a day to create a new character from top to bottom, which isn't crazy. So if I want to make 15 new characters, it'll take me 2 weeks. Which is pretty cool to know, because I do want to make more characters in the future, and maybe there'll be a Nate-like character, or a Ryan-like character.
It's a lot of love to put on a character, bro.
Hey, I'll give it a little extra time, because you don't fit in the sprite mold yet, but, I'll make some revisions. I don't want, thinking back to it, like, now that I worked on this one, I don't feel like I need to have the same body type on all of them in order to keep, like, a lot of the proportions the same, so.
Oh, could you imagine, like, an old lady in a hover-round?
That wouldn't work in this game, but.
You could make it work.
No, I'm not gonna make it work. I'm not gonna make that huge. Cause I already have ideas for making different things to push instead of just a couch. I was thinking like grills and like plasma, like big old TVs and stuff. I had a lot of ideas for other things. That was gonna be like each level will have its own item, and that's what makes the game feel fresh. The characters will interact the same. It'll all be equal, but when you're fighting against pushing a different object to your house, you may have a little more of an advantage in that matter. So that's where I'm going to get the variance. The last playtest I did, which was today with Kale, had 2 bugs in it. One of them is fine to leave in because it's only after a match finishes and the match still like resets the way that it should. And that was like I slid into him as he was winning and going into his victory animation, and it knocked him out of bounds. And he got stuck out of bounds. But that was fine because it still restarted the way that it should. And the other bug, I've added a block in the game that blocks punches. And apparently, I had a stupid collision check set up that whenever you press block in the air, which you shouldn't have been able to do to begin with, you're only supposed to be able to block on the ground. But if you press block in the air, it would maintain your velocity either upward or downward. So if you're jumping,
if you're
press
still
block,
going up,
you would float into the sky
nice.
and just be gone. If you started falling, if you hit block, you would keep falling at the same speed, so you could fall slowly, like a little feather, gracefully falling to the ground. But as soon as he did it on accident, we lost it. It was too funny. He just goes like, "My people need me." He's just gone. Like, luckily, I already put like an actual roof on the level, which I don't need now. But I had one before because when I was making the bounce off the couch, it was very spastic. Like, you never knew how high I was going to bounce, and I kind of fixed that now, but that was hilarious. I managed to fix that in about a half hour, but it was funny while it lasted. Before the weekend gets here, which the weekend is Orlando IX, it's a big technology and games convention that's going to be in Orlando, I believe at the convention center on the 15th and 16th. Tickets start at $35 for the weekend, which is really good
both
for a
days,
convention.
yeah.
Both days. And they have VIP tickets, and they have all-access tickets that let you into other speakers and people that'll be there. And we're getting the all-access because we're booth people. You're going to see myself, Nate, my girlfriend Sandra, and Kale, who is at Culling Music. We're all going to be there doing different things, talking with people, getting people to come over and play Suburban Scavengers, and just having fun. Meeting people. Should be fun. So that's why I'm doing all this work on it. I'm hoping I can get an AI in place before the weekend. It sounds huge, like making it so you can play with one player.
Yeah.
There's all these different mechanics in it. There's punches, blocks, elbow drops, bouncing off the couch, pushing the couch, pulling the couch, clashing. There's a lot of things that you have to check for. So I might just do like a rudimentary, he's going to push if he's on this side, he's going to run and grab to pull if he's on this side, make him punch and slide. Like very, very simple. And that would make it so we don't have to play every match. Because currently, this is only a PvP game. You can only play with 2 players, which is why it's nice to have people for bug testing, which is what Gail's been helping me do a lot. I really appreciate it. We'll see. Another notable thing, just as I'm thinking about it, not necessarily like related directly to the game stuff, but when I've taken vacations in the past, when I come back to something that I was kind of in the groove in before I left, it's difficult to get back into the groove because I'm not used to just the iteration. And I don't know if you experienced this yourself. Sometimes.
Wholeheartedly.
I've had this happen with exercise a couple times. 2 different times when I went up north, I was on an exercise program for over a month, sometimes a few months, and I come back and I just like lost it for whatever reason. And this time, like I was very afraid that was going to happen with this, and I think part of the fear is part of what makes me like, okay, I'll keep going, because I came back with 2 days to work basically before the work week started because we had Saturday and Sunday, but I did very little work on Saturday, and Sunday I did very little as well, like little to nothing, and it was kind of scary. And I knew I had the plan to start working Monday through Friday. You know, the plan was there, but it still was kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
And even before coming here, I had to motivate myself because working at home, I feel like I don't want to leave, and I want to just finish the things that I'm doing there.
Yeah.
And just keep working there. So it's hard to get out of the house. So I have to force myself in the morning. I force myself out to go get a drink just from the corner store. The weather was beautiful this morning also. Did you get to experience the weather outside this morning? Oh, it was
nice. Shelby, actually, my wife, when it was
still,
like, it's a little cool outside.
Yeah, it's still super nice right now. Yeah, it was actually chilly this morning. It's like 72 right now.
Oh, we drove home with the windows down. Like, yes, my daughter was like, oh my God. Yes. And I was like, it's really nice out.
I'm like excited just thinking about like going back outside to feel that. I love having the wind in my hair. For the people who, you know, I used to have hair down my waist.
When I met you, you had long hair. Because you were
when
visiting.
I was in high school, it was twice as long as when you met me. It went all the way to my waist. Yeah. Fun fact. Anyway, I just had to force myself to do things. I said, okay, I'm gonna come over there, and I started like trying to get a lot of stuff ready just before I came, and it actually got me kind of more in the mood because I was trying to last minute get a new build of the game together and post some things online before I came over here. And once I got like to the door, it was gone. Like that whole just hesitance and feeling like I didn't want to do it, that was completely gone. And like I've had an awesome time during this. It's probably my favorite cast so far. I've had a great time on this
Nice.
one. And sometimes you just have to start doing something. Like, I mean, it wouldn't have been a better use of my time to, like, if I was done with the work day, I wouldn't be working at 8 o'clock. You know, you gotta have boundaries at some point. I would just be watching streams. I mean, which is not like a complete waste of time. There's definitely entertainment value in it, but it's not as good as the time that I'm spending here. This time is really valuable. I mean, a lot of other people appreciate it. I got friends that really enjoy the podcast.
Yep.
And, you know, it helps me as well. It helps you as well. It helps
this is
everybody involved.
one of the highlights of my day
awesome.
or week is doing this.
So, if people get into these ruts, if anybody out there has the same experience, force yourself to do something productive. Just if there's something you've been putting off, just start with a small piece of it at least.
Yeah. And
it could get that momentum train running. It's definitely done it for me. I'm psyched about waking up tomorrow and getting more work done on the game because the game's like, it's showable right now. Like, I could put a demo up on itch.io and say, you know, if you want to play multiplayer, play multiplayer. That's the only way you can play it. Have fun. Like I'm pretty much at that level, so it's awesome. But that's the end of my mega update. Just the main thing I want to drive home for people, if they're in the Florida area, Orlando IX, it's the first convention that I'm going to. I've done a speech before, but this is the first time I'm going to a convention. I want to be there every hour of the days that are available. Yep. Nate's going to be there as well. It's going to be awesome. I know it is. Hopefully the game doesn't explode. But again, $35 for the weekend. Not a bad deal. Orlando Convention Center. I think they open at like 9 o'clock, something like that. If you check Orlando IX, the letter I, the letter X, find the website, you can find all the details on there.
Yep.
So that's it for me.
So we'll be there, and if I'll actually go put this out there, the first person that comes to the booth and mentions the podcast, I have some Steam keys I will give away.
That's awesome.
So
Heck yeah.
I have a couple extras. I'll give 2 Steam keys away. I don't remember what they are. I know I have a few left over from other giveaways that if you come mention the podcast, I'll give some Steam keys away.
This is a good game. I might mention the podcast.
You're not eligible.
It's not fair. But what have you been up to with your streaming video stuff? You told me you had some progress stuff. I actually watched one of your videos.
It was... So I'd started with... I had gotten a copy of Premiere Pro. It was an older version of it, but I had a legit copy, and I started watching some YouTube videos and reading some things, and it just wasn't clicking for me like I hoped. Like, I use Photoshop. Like, I have friends, like, shout out to Helen Scorpio Photography, who knows this Photoshop in and out. I'm good enough to merge things to do some, some minor things. But I was struggling so much with Premiere.
Premiere, for people that don't know, this is a video editing software made by Adobe.
Correct. I couldn't figure out things I thought were, it must be this button, or this would seem intuitive to do it this way, and it wasn't. It was really frustrating me. So I literally, after spending an hour trying to take a video I'd already recorded, and taking audio I had recorded and syncing them. It literally an hour and a half went by, and I couldn't get it right, and I was like, there's got to be other alternatives. There's no way.
Yeah, you just need something entry level for now, because Premiere definitely is a great video editing software. I've used it myself personally, but there's a learning curve when you have something that's high end.
So, in my frustration, I literally went and Googled free video editing software, or best free video editing software 2016.
I've done the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, I can't. Because all the good ones are hundreds of dollars. And I was like, I can't spend hundreds of dollars at the moment, so let's see what's free. And there were some suggestions, and I ended up with Lightworks. That was kind of one that on the multiple lists I looked at, and after doing one of the little tutorials, I was actually able to figure out how to do what I want with more intuitive control, in my opinion. And so with that being said, I was like, okay, let's see if I can do this. I actually recorded a ton of gameplay videos. If you follow me on Twitter, at the Ninja Fat Man, I actually talked about all the games I played and recorded videos for future podcast episodes. And I was actually able to put up 2 videos on my YouTube channel, which has been a long time coming. And I've got 6 partial videos that need final touches, and they'll be up on YouTube. First one's a Duelyst, which we talked about quite a bit today.
Duelyst reps. I feel like I need like a hand symbol, like a gang sign for Duelyst now. Like, rep it.
It was a 10 Spirit Orb opening video. So just kind of, I opened the Spirit Orbs, kind of give you the ability to look at the different rarities and kind of talk about the cards a little bit. So that was fun. And then the other is a game we'll talk about in a future game. It's called Speedrunner. It's a co-op, or it's not co-op. It's a multiplayer or versus computer game where you are running through a map, you're trying to run and get ahead, and it's a up, down, left, right, and trying to get them to go off the edge of the screen by zooming ahead or cutting them off at obstacles. And there's it is super, super, super competitive. Like, the ladder was difficult. You have a little better reflexes than me. You might actually like the game. So there's a gameplay video that we'll definitely talk about in the podcast a little bit. But those are up on the YouTube channel. If you just look me up, the links to it are everywhere. But that's it for now. That's the stuff I've put up. I've got gameplay video I'm going to put up for a game called Crown Takers, for a game called Space Run. Those 2 have been fun games I've played. Actually dusted off League of Legends and recorded a match. The first 10 minutes you think I know what I'm doing, and then the following 10 minutes you realize that Silver 5 is something I earned really hard.
Yeah, I was never good at League of Legends. I played mostly bot matches because the community was so caustic.
That quickly happened too. I'm actually gonna probably take the chat out. I finally learned enough to just don't talk. But there's some just foul, repugnant crap in chat that I'll end up probably just blocking out of the video, just because, like, at some point there was, like, racial slurs being thrown out.
Yeah, it happens when there's such a huge community around something. I imagine if Hearthstone had chat, it would be insane.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in our world.
Yeah. This episode, dude.
Oh, shit, bro.
An hour-long episode. Alright, so we'll do we're gonna do another bumper for game life balance. Just because I met up with Cody and it was awesome. Got a Chicago deep dish pizza. It was awesome. It was so good.
Oh, it's so bad.
I want one right now. Oh man.
There used to be a place in Winter Haven that closed down. People didn't like waiting 45 minutes for pizza.
I think it's Little Caesars open. Actually, tacos. Everything sounds good. I'll get tacos. Tacos are cheaper. I definitely need to eat before I get home.
Okay, so we'll do
our...
We Love Podcasts, making them and listening to them, and then...
Yep, and I'll do Game Life Balance again.
Okay.
Dude, Cody, the guy that I've mostly communicated with through Game Life, he's a giant, and I didn't know that. He's like 6'6" or something. Yeah. So I met him just like, what's up, man?
I mean, I'm pretty tall, but
And,
that's
he was
6'6".
like, you look different. Like, I don't remember the way you look. He thought he had me mixed up with another listener because we mostly just talk via text and not talking. So he thought I was a high schooler. Yeah. And he's like, how old are you guys? Like, I'm 31 and Sanders going to be 35. What? Because he's the same age. He's 31.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's great.
that meeting was awesome. It was really cool. This is like one of the only times that I wish I would have got it in a picture. I'm not a big picture person, but I wish I had a picture there.
You have this same, like, smarmy, like, I'm taking this because I like you, woman, smile every time you take a picture.
Alright. But I was thinking, like, I could just get Cody to send me a selfie of, like, his work building, because we were nearby that. It was like, just send a selfie of yourself and leave room for me, and then I'll just put the top of my head in it.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much how it would be.
Alright, so we'll do the podcast shout-out.
We should be good to go after that.
Just do the intro, then we're done.
Toasty in here. Yeah.
Yeah, this film one.
Shreddy. Okay. Let's,
Recording.
yeah, let me get another one open. New. Recording.
We love podcasts, making them and listening to them.
After this episode, I recommend listening to Game Life Balance US, a lifestyle podcast hosted by adult gamers trying to juggle their hobbies with the increasing demands of the real world. The hosts are great guys with great chemistry.
Search for Game Life Balance US on iTunes everywhere. I don't know why I said everywhere.
You can do your last line again. I'll tack it on.
Search for Game Life Balance US on iTunes.
That'll work. Okay. Yeah, I think he's spread out on a lot of different places too, but I don't know all of them offhand. I have to go to their site. So let's put this one in there. Yeah, he said that we could put in some stuff for cross promotion too for the podcast, which I need to record so we can wrap the cast. Shout out GLUS and save. Okay. So
Intro.
we can easily figure out something with Duelyst related for this intro.
By the way, thank you to whoever on SoundCloud listened to the episode and left a comment that basically the most delicious cake of them all, urinal, made them LOL. That was
I think that was my buddy Eric.
That made my day. All right, so a podcast about all things AAA and.
So what's something that we brought up this time, possibly Duelyst related?
Positions matter.
Chuckle. In all the right positions or something.
It's actually pretty good.
Let's just use that. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Where's the intro? Intro.
And then we need to come up with a title.
Let's
The extra long episode.
Yeah, I'm not signed in. Hopefully my hands aren't in the camera. I don't think they are. Can't get my passwords.
Nope, it's not.
I can hear by the distance of the clicks. I know exactly what that is. Intro. Get rid of this urinal cake. And all the right positions.
A title episode.
And the title of the episode will be yeah, we gotta have like the word duel in it. coolest duelist or something.
That'll work. Coolest duelist.
Alright. We'll spell it like their name.
Yeah.
Coolest duelist.
Alright. Ready?
Let me get another open. New. Hi, I'm Ryan Dombrowski of game development studio Doombrowski.
I am Nathan, Twitch streamer and YouTuber, the Ninja Fat Man.
And together we are
Doom Ninja, a podcast about all things gaming, from streaming to development, new games and old, AAA to indie games.
And all the right positions.